So the Trump team doesn't appear concerned about potential conflicts of interest, questions being raised over the role of the president-elect's children in the transition. Ivanka Trump just tweeted this photo of her siblings attending her father's meeting with the nation's tech titans yesterday on Wednesday. And moments ago, Trump spokesperson Kellyanne Conway talked about a possible role for Ivanka and her husband in a Trump administration.
So Ivanka and Jared will make their own decision and announcement in due course. I think that we would benefit tremendously by having them inside the administration if in fact that could happen.
Joining me now are Roland Martin, host and managing editor of NewsOne Now, TV1 cable network, and Chris Wilson, GOP pollster and former executive director of the Texas Republican Party. Guys, I know you were both on different sides of this issue. So Roland, let's get to you first. How do you feel about Donald Trump's children sitting in, at the very least, the latest thing on this tech summit meeting yesterday?
They had no business in the meeting. Twitter, Jack Dorsey, the CEO, co-founder of Twitter, wasn't even in the meeting. I saw my buddy Sean Spicer on television. He's a great guy yesterday saying, well, only so much room at the table. So let me ask you a question for the American people. Who was more valuable at the table yesterday? The co-founder of Twitter, who's also the founder and the CEO of Square, or three of Trump's children? I'm sorry, get your kids, sit them in the back row, and put the CEOs at the table and not the folks going to be leading your company.
Roland, his kids are his advisors. So, Chris, I go to you. Sean Spicer, as Roland just mentioned, defended the president-elect's actions. Let's take a listen to Sean, and then we'll react on the other side.
So it's not like there's anything nefarious going on or sneaky or untransparent. We've been very clear about the role of his family.
So they've been very clear. They've made it transparent. Chris, is that okay?
Well, I think it is. I mean, picking a cabinet and going through these meetings is about more than just qualifications and experience. It's about finding people who share your vision and finding people who the president-elect can get along with. And really, these criticisms, they were given also toward Hillary Clinton from Republicans. That was probably a mistake as well. And look, Katie, as you know, I was critical of Trump during this campaign. I worked for Ted Cruz. I was on the other side of this primary. But looking at this, I find the only people who are really upset about it are liberals who disagree with the picks that are being made or disagree with the decisions that are being made. Frankly, you don't see this
country who did not vote for Donald Trump, so it's quite a few
but you can say that after every election.
A few people. So here's my question to you, Chris. Does Donald Trump not have anybody else that he could talk to that are not his children that he can get advice on about this sort of thing?
Well, I think what he's got to do is got to find those people who share his vision, who understand that vision, and can act on that vision. And frankly, it was a small campaign. There was not a lot of people around him. And from that standpoint, I doubt there are really 3 or 4 more qualified people than his children, Kellyanne Conway, Sean Spicer, Reince Priebus, people like that, to be involved with and help make these decisions.
Roland,
and
I just saw that look on your face.
Critical to the
Roland,
campaign,
you don't think
I think they're good decisions.
Roland, do you think there are more qualified people than Trump's kids?
Oh, my God, please. Okay, Chris, you're from Texas. I'm born and raised in Houston. That dog won't hunt. The bottom line is this here, to have 3 of your kids at the table when there are far more people who are qualified, but Chris also mentioned transparent.
Qualifications
this is not
are
transparent.
subjective, Roland.
No, 1 second. Here's the deal. They're still running his... No, Chris, hold tight. They're still running his business. We don't know about their business ties. They have not been transparent. He hasn't released his taxes. We don't know who he owes. And the point is this here. If you don't have room at the table for the CEO of Twitter, who also is the CEO of Square, because your kids are taking up space, I'm sorry, that's not going to fly. They should not be sitting at the table.
Roland, hold on 1 second. I want to say this in defense of what Donald Trump is doing. His voters fully expected this to happen. They like his kids. They understood that Donald Trump was going to do things differently. He was going to be a businessman.
Doesn't matter.
Why doesn't it matter?
Because
if he won, why doesn't it matter?
No, because it doesn't. Because this is about this is about the presidency, and what we do not want is we don't want the president's children and the president profiting off of the White House. It's not up for sale.
Well, until there's evidence of that happening, Roland, I think those charges are unfounded.
I'm giving you 10 seconds. Go now, or you're both going to get cut off.
Those charges are unfounded. There's no. That's absolutely ridiculous to say. I mean, elections have consequences, and the fact is he won. If he wants to have his kids involved, it's his right. Until there's evidence that they're doing something wrong.
A spirited discussion. Roland Martin and Chris Wilson, thank you guys very much.
Thanks, Katie.
Thank you, Katie.